Good afternoon. My name is Keith Walsh. You are watching Moth News. Now, today we are bringing you a story that cuts straight to the heart of Ireland's social care legacy. For the past 40 days and nights, plus, four survivors of the historic Boarded Out programme, Maurice O'Connell, Mary Donovan, Miriam Moriarty Owens, and Mary Dunleavy Green have been sleeping rough outside Leinster House, refusing food until the state puts their demands in writing. A full HAA medical assessment, a contributory state pension, and a formal apology is what they're asking for. They have met with the Taoiseach, but no written commitment has been secured, and a mediator will not be available until Monday. Crazy. In the meantime, the group continues the hunger strike, surviving on just electrolytes, water, and coffee. Joining us now is Miriam, one of the four survivors, to speak about what this protest means for her, for the other boarded out survivors, and for the wider conversation about historic abuse in state care. Miriam, thank you very much for joining us. How are you today?
Oh, not too bad. And thank you for reaching out, Keith. I really appreciate it. First of all, my name is Miriam Moriarty Owens. I'm age 68. And Keith, we were not boarded out. We were kidnapped by the state, which is boarded out means that when you were in care by the state, they boarded you out to families during the summer holidays or Christmas or Easter to work for nothing as children. So they boarded out, we were kidnapped from our families. And in my story, we're survivors of the industrial and reformatory schools.
Mm.
That's what we come under, institutional abuse. So I'd start. When I was a baby, my mother contacted TB, and it was in the 1950s, and all her family had died from TB, Lord to mercy on their souls. But at the time, you were quarantined in a place called Edenburn Sanatorium. So basically, you were put in there, and I'd say some people came out dead, some people did survive. Thank God my mother did survive. But while she was in Edenburn, very sick, probably never thought she was ever going to come out of there, they came and they took 5 of us away and brought us to a court. I was a baby in front of a judge to be detained in an industrial school until we reached the age of 16. My court order states that my father was present, which is a lie. Because when I found another document, it stated that were the parents summoned and he says no. So I don't remember going in there because I was a baby. But I know when I just did start remembering with my 2 older siblings, Joan and Anna, who still passed away, Lord to mercy on their soul, fear took over. Our names were taken and we were given a number. My number was 1061. As soon as you entered those doors of the industrial school, Pembroke Arms Industrial School 3, where thousands of people went through those doors, they stripped you of your name, your dignity, your personality, and especially your voice. We were never treated as children. The state were the perpetrators. They handed us over to the religious orders. The religious order that supposed to have taken care of me and my rest of my friends and family were the Sisters of Mercy. And my God, did they not show us no mercy? The cruelty that happened for the 13 years that I spent inside there, nobody can describe how a child can be beaten. I give you a couple of incidents that happened, and this is about myself. I was after making my first Holy Communion, and I was in bed. I was about a week or 2 after my first Holy Communion because A lot of things happened before that. But I'm just going to tell you what kind of torture they put you in through. The nun woke me from my sleep and dragged me by my hair. I was 7 years old. She put me down to I was in St. Bridget's dormitory with other girls. There was 4 dormitories. I just want to let you know that there was St. Anne, St. Bridget's, St. Germain's, and St. Vincent's. So they were the 4 dormitories. And she caught me by my hair, dragged me down through St. Bridget's dormitory, down the stairs, still by my hair, and brought me down through Sacred Heart Our Lady's Corridor, Our Lady's Corridor. There was a door to the right which led out into, it's called the Dog's Yard. And underneath the window there would have been kind of like it. Well, now it would look like a coffin if I had to look at it now when I was a child. And there was fire sticks kept in there, kindle for the fire. But there wasn't much in it. There was just little sticks, tiny. It was almost empty. She told me to take off my nightclothes and lie in that box and to not move until because she'd be watching me. And I kind of went over, turned towards the wall, and I waited for the door to slam when she left. And I had my eyes closed up really tight, like, and I was crying, but there's no tears falling. And whatever way I turned around, I just looked up and all I could see was stars. And I started to count them and I fell asleep. And my next memory was of the nun give me back my nightdress and saying, get ready for mass. And if I ever told anybody what happened or where I was, I would never see the light of day again. But when I did come back to get ready for mass, my sister Joan was sitting at the top of the stairs. And I was walking up. She must have known where I was. And she just went to me, shh, don't tell anybody. And I didn't, because you couldn't, because she had some pets there. So you didn't want to be punished again for repeating what happened. So you just get on with it. And then you got ready for mass. And this is a person that was called to God. Like, this was supposed to be, she's supposed to take a vow, a calling for what? Like, that was one incident. Then the other crude, I just have to give it the most. Nobody would believe that I was with my sister, Anya, and I think some sewing machine was broken, and she says he did it, 1061 and 1060. Get up to bed, and I'll be up in a minute. And when the both of us were on each side in each bed, in St. Bridget's dormitory, and she told us to take our clothes off and lie down, like face down, tied us with twine to the bars of the bed, both legs, and like the shape of a cross. While one nun started counting, and the nun started beating 1 to 100. And the more you screamed, so I learned very quickly, if I don't say it would stop. I had to go back, and that was it. We went back downstairs. It was in the evening, and naturally my sister Joan was distraught at seeing me and Anya, and I had to watch her, and she had to watch me being beaten. That was another one. I think the one that hurts me the most is the day I made my Holy Communion. I had not met my mom, right? I had not met my mom. I didn't even know what a mom was, because she constantly told us that we weren't loved and that she didn't want us. But anyway, I did. So on the night of the morning of my first Holy Communion, my mum gave my sister Brita a prayer book, a rosary piece, and a medal. And it was in the morning. I was coming down the stairs, and Joan had dressed me, and it was tiny now, like, and no mirrors. Only the mirror was like up to the ceiling, and Joan had to kind of lift me up, and she did my hair with pillowcase rags. She tore them up, and she made my hair curly. And she says, "You're my princess now, and you're going to be lovely today," because something drastic happened to my own sister Anya when she made hers, which I can't even talk about. and she's gone to God. So she gave me my prayer, and do you know what? I had a lovely morning. I went over to the church, made my first Holy Communion with another girl, my friend, and made my Holy Communion, came back, and we four of us had something to eat together, which was to me was very special. That was okay. I had a lovely day, but that just lasted for a day. And then that's what happened the week after, was I went into this, I call it coffin, right? It was my 9th birthday, and one of the girls in school gave me a birthday present. And I never forget it. It was a box of milk chocolate, a pair of mittens, and a birthday card, which said, "Happy 9th birthday," and a little girl on a swing. Oh, absolutely loved it. It was the first time I got a present. It's the first time I got a birthday card. Never forget it. And I came running back to the home, showed the nun what I had been given. And the other nun that was in the class knew that she'd given it to me as a present, which was her best friend. This nuns were, two of them were birds of a feather stick together. And I was all excited and I wasn't even going to eat the chocolates, so I was going to give them out. And all I was happy with was the mittens, and especially the birthday card, because that was the most important thing to me, was the card that somebody just knew it was my birthday, and I got a card, because we never had a birthday in there. So a few weeks later, I said to one of the girls, "My hair is longer than yours," because my hair used to grow very fast. I didn't grow, but the hair grew. And she went down and told the nun, who was one of her pets, that I said that my hair was longer than hers. She came up, she called me down and to Our Lady's room, and she put a bowl on my head and she cut my hair. Then she says, "I want you to go upstairs and I want you to bring down the medal and the rosaries and the prayer book." Now, my mom had signed this, "Have a lovely day. I love you. Miriam." She came down and she took them off me and she burnt them. She burnt them. I said, why did you do that? And if you answer back, I said, "They're the only things that I have that my mom gave me, just to prove that she did think of me, but she was sick." And I suppose I'll never forget that, because they were my possessions, the only thing I owned that was given to me by a mom that gave birth to me. And she was supposed to be a God, like helping us, but everything that we had, she removed. And that was that part. And then it was just this went on every day. If it wasn't you, it was somebody else. But you had to watch.
You never knew when it might be you.
Yeah, you never knew if it was going to be you or your siblings or your friends. I mean, to me, everybody was my sister. Everybody. I've never thought that everybody was the biggest family I ever had, like. But we never left those gates. We made our confession. We were told what to say. I mean, I remember saying to the priest, "I'm telling a lie here, like. You're supposed to be confession. But what sin did we commit?" You know, they were the people that should have been going to confession and confessing to what they're doing to little children. And then I spent my sister Joan, Lord have mercy on her soul, who was so good. She protected. Like, I really believe that she was my mom. My everything. She took over. She did protect us, and she'd always read me stories, The Princess and the Pea, but she'd always put my name into it. And she was just the most wonderful human being. My sister Brenda did call up to see us, and my mom came in 1966, and St. Patrick's Day with my baby brother. And I said, "What's that?" She said, "That's your baby. That's your sister, your brother." And I went, "Can I keep him?" And But he was on her lap, and I knew when I looked at her, she was sad, but she was beautiful. An absolutely beautiful woman. Like, there was a lot of sadness in her face.
Mm.
But little did I know, because, the nun kept saying, "You're not loved. Oh, get ready, your mother's coming up to see you." And then we'd wait for about 3 or 4 hours at the gate. And she'd come out and she said, "What are you doing?" We said, "We're waiting for our mother, sister." And she'd go, "Your mother? Your mother's not coming up to see you. She hates you. You're never going to see you. She left you here." And I think then I started to get some strength in me. And it was my sister Joan was leaving then in 1969 on her 16th birthday. And I was going to school and I knew that she was leaving. And I wrapped up a little thing for her, yellow paper. She loved yellow, lemon. And I just made something for her in class. And I begged the nun to wait until which she did. And I remember her, we were walking down the corridor and she was going away. Because I knew that she was my protector. And I'd probably never see her again. But as I was standing at the parlour door with my other sister, Anya left and I stood there with the nun and Joan. And she was walking down, just a little bag, nobody there to greet her. And I don't know, I started screaming. I said, and she said, "I'll come back for you. I promise I'll come back and see you." And I don't know where it came from, but there was a wail that I could feel it myself. It was just pure sadness, and that my beautiful sister was going. And then I said, "Who's going to protect me now?" But I don't know what happened on that day. Oh, but just before that, the year before she died, we were going to the beach. This just came into my head.
Mm.
And Joan was very sick. And in the morning, and we'd always go on Children's Day to the beach. And it was the beach called Kilshannig Beach. And the priest used to stand up and say, "Oh, don't go to that beach today. The orphans are going there. Keep away, you know." And Joan was very sick, and I knew she was sick. And we were on the bus, all of us, and Joan was very, very sick. And I said to one of the nuns, "I can't go out." I said, "My sister is very sick." And she said, "Oh, you could stay in the bus with her." Now, we were on the bus, say, from 11 in the morning and about 7 in the evening. And my sister, I knew there was something seriously wrong. So we came back on the bus, and I kept saying to her, "I think my sister, something's wrong with my sister, my sister." And anyway, as we were coming back on the bus, they stopped at the Bonsecourt Hospital in Tralee. They refused to take her in, right? Because it was a private hospital. So the bus continued on up to St. Catherine's Hospital. And I was bringing her out, and next thing I wanted to go out with her, and they said no. And fine, I said, okay. So the following day, I went into her office and I knocked on her door and I said, "Sister," I said, "how is my sister?" "Oh," she said, "she died last night. I just want to let you know that now." And there was a statue of Our Lady behind me. And I looked around and I said, "Why did you do this? Why did you allow my sister to die?" And then, I don't know, this nun tapped me on the shoulder, kind of a nice nun. And she says, "Miriam," and she called me by my name. She went, "Joan is okay." And I said, "Why did she tell me she was dead?" "I tell you what," she says, "I'm going over to see her." And I pretend I was going somewhere. And I went over. She'd written me a note, and I wrote her a note. And I sat on her bed and I asked the nurse for that watch they had up there years ago. They'd have the watch up here because I wanted to be back in time because I was going with this nun. And, I was reason I entered the game and Joan and me reached there for the and I run back to the illustrious that when I suppose
Sorry, Miriam.
so
Just a second there. We're just the signal isn't great at the moment. So we're only getting bits of what you're saying.
oh sorry.
So we just wait. Maybe we might come back in a second. I just don't want to miss any of your story. It seems to be better now. So you asked the nurse for the watch.
I asked the nurse for the watch just to keep that I wouldn't be late. And I jumped into her bed and I forgot it was her appendix she'd taken. And all I heard was, ooh.
Oh, hang on a sec. We'll see if we can get Miriam back.
Yeah.
Miriam, sorry, we lost you there for a second.
Yes, but so we jumped into the bed.
You jumped into the bed and forgetting it was the appendix, and
yeah, and then she went, oh, like that, but she was very, very sick. But I had that hour with her and it was lovely. So I went back and I never told anybody that I was there to see her. And I think then when she was leaving, when this way, I don't know where it came from. But when Joan turned back and said, I'll come back for you. And I said, I promise, she says, I promise. And she did come back to see us every week. But what happened after that was the biggest shock of my life. The nun stood next to me and she says, you can go to bed now. But I said, no, I was supposed to go back to school in the afternoon.
mm-hmm.
And I said, I was afraid I was going to get a beating because of crying and really, I just couldn't let go. And no, she says, you don't have to go back now today, Tor. She says, I'll bring you up some tea and some bread and jam. And from that day to the day I left, which was 9 months later, it's like a pregnancy, that we were taken back to our parents. Whatever happened that day, I said either the divine intervention went into her or something happened. But she was never the same nun. But still, I didn't trust her.
Mm.
Do you know?
Do you think it was because your sister was leaving and she was going to come and visit you and she'd be able to tell people what's happening, or she, she wanted it to seem like you were being treated well?
First of all, I always say I thought it was the fact that she probably never heard it before, and whatever way it happened naturally, and it was pure. It was like grief, it was, and I was only like 12 years old. That's all I was when she left. My birthday is 2 weeks before her. 12 I was.
Yeah.
And then I mean, you could go on and on about the cruelty that happened in these places.
Why do you think they were so cruel? Like, have you ever tried? It's not your job to figure it out, but I mean, it seems like there was no reason, no rhyme or reason. They might as well have treated you nicely. They would have got the same. You didn't want to be there. Maybe they didn't want to be there. But the cruelty.
Probably. I mean, but like, why did they target certain people? Right? We had parents, right? We had family, and I just to my dying day, it wasn't just me. It was everybody, bar her pets. There was pets there that were never touched. I don't know. Is it because, being honest, I don't really know, because we were good children. We behaved. We had 4 baths, only for 60 children, and you never had a hot bath. We never had toothpaste. We never had toiletries. The washrooms, you were just lined up and you just had to wash. There was no privacy, right? The doctor came at least once a year, and that was, everybody was lined up naked. It was just inhumane.
You weren't treated like humans. You weren't treated like
And then
children.
the vaccine companies, they
Mm.
denied they ever came to. I remember them at the Glasgow company as clear as day, giving us sugar lumps and some form of an injection. And if it didn't have a reaction, you'd have one. I remember it well. I remember reading very, I learned how to read I never remember not being able to read.
Yeah.
Um, so I know, but they still, up to 5 years ago, they still denied they came. And I said, well, you did.
The vaccine companies were coming to do what? Test vaccines on children?
Correct. The vaccine trials. And it was only lately, a few years back, when I found out that the Glasgow company used to sponsor the Bonnie Baby contest at the Rose of Tralee Festival. So my memory is correct, because I always stated that they came up around the festival, around the Rose of Tralee, because the roses used to come up to visit.
Mm-hmm.
And so why did they come up to our school then, the Glasgow company?
Yeah.
And why did they sponsor a Bonnie Baby contest? Why is a pharmaceutical company sponsoring?
A pharmaceutical company from Scotland sponsoring a Bonnie Baby competition in Kerry. Who got that? How much and who got that money? That would be
Yeah,
interesting to find out, wouldn't it?
yeah. Well, I know. I'm telling. These are not stories. These are truths. Stories are made up in the Bible, and I once upon a time. These are true stories. And like my friend, one of my fellow survivor friends, that's on the hunger strike with me, Mary Dunleavy Green, said to me, Miriam, they're not stories. They're truths. You're telling your truth.
Mm.
And it's the truth that hurts sometimes, but the truth has to be told. So that was, they put you under the stairs, they take the light bulb off, lock you in for over the weekend.
And I mean, because the first story you told about the coffin shape thing and just being told to go in there. What was there's no reason for that. You were just in your
Well,
bed and then,
the convent looked over it. So I think every bit of cruelty, now this is my opinion because I'm older now,
yeah,
right, was sadistic.
just pure cruelty, just pure.
Pure satisfaction. They were getting satisfaction because when they stopped beating you, it was like they got a thrill out of it. And if you didn't scream, the more you screamed, the more the thrill you got. They got. They didn't. They didn't care. They didn't care for us. And it was the Irish state that allowed them to do this. They were getting paid when I went in on my documentation, £4 a week. On my court order, they said my father was present, gave consent, which was a lie, because the other documentation states they were not summoned. We were just taken. We were stolen to make money for the religious orders, and the state paid them to look after us, and they didn't do it. And it was only years like that I've realised it was the state are responsible for what happened to young children in all industrial and reformatory schools, because we're the only survivor groups, as far as I know, and I'm nearly 99.9%, that was taken by the state and brought to court and given a criminal record. And does the criminal record still stand?
What was the crime?
Being born. You're nothing. That's all they kept saying. You'll never be nothing. You're nothing.
So what were they? So you, when you were in the industrial school, you worked, yeah?
Oh yeah, you watched every
What kind of
morning.
work did you do? Because the reason they're looking, obviously, it's child labor. They're finding children that are vulnerable. Obviously, your mother was very sick, so it was an opportunity for them to swoop in and kidnap you and put you to work. Because
It's like that.
clearly, the church and the state were colluding, and there was money. Somebody was making money.
Well, the religious orders were making
Yeah,
the money.
yeah.
The state was paying them. Also, they took the children's allowance book, and they had that as well.
Oh, so they
So
got your children's allowance.
correct. So I'd say we were just, they traded us. That we were just free labor.
Hmm.
We did everything in the industrial school. Everything.
Slavery.
Slavery. From
Hmm.
as soon as you walked, you worked.
What
And
kind of work were you doing, Miriam?
when you get up in the morning, first of all, you made your bed,
What
right?
time?
6,
Up at 6, right? Make your
up at
bed.
6, make your bed, clean the dormitory, and then you get ready for mass. Then you go to mass, and then you come back and you have your porridge, whatever rest of it was. I think we got an egg at Easter, and then you went to. We did go to mainstream school, but it was on really the grounds of the industrial school, so you never really left the gates
Mm.
of the school, of the industrial school. It was known as Pembroke Gardens Industrial School, but they changed its name then to Nazareth House. What a lovely name. Fabulous.
Mm.
No, let's give it a nice name.
I don't think
And
Jesus would be too happy with that, would he?
no, I don't think so. Because I don't think that people of God should. I mean, it's to me is then I went home. My mother, I have her letter saying that she wanted her children home. And I don't know how many letters she had written, but this was the final letter. And that was 9 months when Joan had gone home. And my sister, Breda, who also got married at the same time in 1970, wasn't even told we were coming home. And like Breda suffered as well because she was kind of like an only child now.
Mm.
I mean, and that's wrong. She was the eldest. And,
Yeah.
she, as we were just separated. Nobody knew our personality. We were broken when we went home. I was
So,
broken.
so what did you do after mass? Then you went to school for a while, for a few hours.
Then you came home. I'm college, it's weird. And then you came back, and like some of the nuns that taught you in school would come back with you. And if you got blamed for something in school, you'd be punished. So we did our homework, right? Then there was no play whatsoever. Then whatever you might be making rosary beads, you might be making the scapular, you might be doing a bit of sewing. Sewing for everybody, washing sheets for the hotels. So they were getting paid for the work that we were doing.
Mm.
Knitting socks. Now we did learn a lot, where knitting and sewing and
Well,
but
you learned how to do your work.
we learned how to, and then scrub floors. Every Saturday was a day of just scrubbing floors, doing the garden, bringing in the coal. And another thing, if I don't eat vegetables, since I came out today, I haven't touched a vegetable. I'm very seldom, might eat a bit of chicken. If you didn't eat, they'd keep it for you. And if you did get sick, they make you eat that.
If you vomited, they'd make you eat it.
Yeah, they make you eat that. And they made you eat from the bins. I mean, these are our truths. This is not something that is. I wrote a book 15 years ago, Shish Don't Tell. You can understand why now. A truth of what really happened. And it's bullshit, especially about myself and my siblings and my friends. And that was 15 years ago. And I've been fighting for justice for the last 26 years. When I went home, I went to the technical college, and at the age of 14, I was still under the care of the state. Now, I went to work in Denny's Bacon Factory in Tralee. I was 14 and a half. And I had to bring in my birth certificate to prove that I was that age because I didn't look it. I was so thin. But I only found out my real birthday on my 13th birthday when I came home from the tech school, and my mom had a cake with a candle on it. And I said, "Whose birthday is it today?" She said, "It's yours." And I went, "No, it's the 5th of November. And I don't know, is it the 5th of November or the 25th of November? But my records say the 5th. No, she said, "It's today. The 11th of October is your birthday." And so I celebrated my first birthday, my real birthday, on my 13th birthday. But I thought it was a lovely thing that she remembered my birthday, which I wouldn't even have known it was. I mean, And that kind of, but Mum was always sad, you know,
Mm.
and we never spoke about it. We never ever spoke about what happened.
Yeah.
There was always a sadness in her.
And
You,
you mentioned she was always writing letters to say, I want my
well,
children home.
now I know she was, but
Mm.
when I got my records, the last letter that she had written in her handwriting on the March 1970, and we went out in June or July. We left the 27th of July.
Mm.
She says, "I want my children home. My home is ready." And God bless her, she had nothing, but she wanted us home. But I don't know how many letters she'd written and they ignored, because they hid a lot of stuff. I mean, I
Mm.
don't know what way my mom felt when she came out of that hospital and found that all her children were gone.
Mm.
And it's you know, it's only now that I'm actually grieving for her,
Yeah.
because when they told you for years that she didn't love you, you kind of looked and she couldn't. She was just a broken woman, like a broken woman. And then I suppose I went to London then when I was
So,
21.
what was life like then from the age of 13 when you went home until you went to London?
Not very,
Were you able to enjoy life? Or?
no, pure control again, because that's the way I was conditioned. Do as
Mm.
you're told, obey, you know. And I did everything, you know, and I did obey. I did work in Denny's, and we did, myself and Anya worked in Denny's, and I gave Mum everything, because I don't know, I was trying to buy her love, or but I knew
You're trying to
there was,
prove your worth, maybe.
yeah, and but I loved doing it, like, and
Yeah.
you know, it wasn't, money meant nothing to me, because
Mm.
first of all I hadn't seen it, so I didn't know what money was, and I didn't even know how much a bar of chocolate was at the age of 14, like, um, and I just felt, and then my father was very abusive,
Mm.
and so at the age of 21, when they say you get the key of the door, I decided to go to London, and now I can go to London and be me. And I got married.
Mm.
Um, I was married for 20 years. It was up and down, but I knew I wasn't happy. And I suppose, everything happens for a reason. I have I had Brendan, my second son died, Kieran, Artemis, so my baby. And
Sorry.
then I had Pierce, and then I have Declan.
Mm.
So I had four sons and three wonderful men today. I can say that to you. Amazing. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 grandchildren, and expecting my sixth in March. So,
Congratulations.
but I think the saddest part was for me then when I got the phone call from my sister Joan on the 13th of May, 1994. And she says to me, I was at work, it was on a Friday night, and I work as a radio controller as a cab office. I loved it. I love being in London because nobody asks you any questions. So ask no questions, you get, they don't ask you where'd you come from,
Nobody knew
where'd you
where you
live.
came from and your surname and
I did tell
where you
him
went to school.
I did tell him I lived in a big house. That's as far as I went. A very big house. So, but I found them I got on really well there. I got on, I was Miriam. I was just, I had to learn to be myself.
Mm.
And I got on, thank God, really well. And they were very good to me.
Who were
Everything.
you when you had to learn to be yourself? Who were you? Because
I, yeah, I had to be, I always felt, where do I fit in? Where in the family first, and then
mm,
where in society do I fit in?
mm,
When I went to London, I fitted in everywhere. Do you know what I mean? So I felt safe, and I felt they treated me really well. I have a lot to thank for, because I think I got married naturally, and everybody goes through life, and yeah, somebody says they love you, and you would never been told by your sisters or your family that, yeah. But I think what changed my life then was where my journey started was when my sister Joan rang me on the 13th of May, 1994,
94, yeah.
and told me that she was about 48 hours to live. Bear in mind, I was home to visit her on her birthday. Would have been her 40th. And nobody likes sending their age, so she kind of hid the car. But that very night, we were sitting by the fire. I didn't even know she was dying. I didn't even know she wore a wig. I did not know. She had a baggy jumper on, and she went down. She says, "We watch it wasn't a DVD. It was one of those
Video.
VHS. I never forget it. Sent of a woman." And with Chris O'Donnell, he was blind. The man. And I don't know. She kept looking at me, and she says, "You don't have to see somebody to love them." When I came back to London, the car was back in my case. I rang her. I said, "Jesus, John." I said, "Oh no," she says, sure, the next time you go home, you can give it to me." But she put it back into the case. And I never, and then I went home and saddest day, I've never forgot her. And then when the apology came, then when coming to the apology everything changed. She said a few things to me, which when I was lying next to her. And I went back and I felt different. Sorry, I had to go back for my son's birthday. And I said, well, she dies now on the way over. But this was on the 6th of June. And then it was on the 16th of June, I got a phone call saying that Joan had passed away this morning. I just have to go home. I have to go home. So I went home anyway, and Joan was cremated. Naturally, why? You know why? Because nobody wants to be, I don't want to be buried because of what happened, putting you into these boxes and, the fear of being buried alive.
Oh, God.
And so I went back to London, broken, and I did promise her that I would never forget her. And I haven't. Your name be mentioned every day of my life for the rest of my life. And then the apology came. I was in London on birthday, and this is when it all started.
Yeah, okay. Was that the apology? Who is it? Who made the apology?
Bertie Ahern was the Taoiseach at the
Taoiseach
time.
at the time, yeah.
It was on the 11th of May, 1999. And he stood and said, on behalf of the state and the people of Ireland, we apologise for the cruelty that happened in all industrial and reformatory schools, and for the abuse and the sexual abuse that happened in these places. And he promised that we'd be looked after for the rest of our lives.
Wow.
We got redress, which to me was like a bribe, because the solicitors took over and they made sure they got paid, but we were put on a scale of our abuse. So we had to go and tell our truths, but they wouldn't believe us. They got their own psychiatrist for 1 hour.
So you had to go and tell your story, but you had to prove that you weren't telling lies. So they did.
Yeah.
So they put you through more trauma, having to relive the abuse, and then they didn't believe you. And this is on behalf of the state. I mean, I'm absolutely, all I can say is I'm so sorry on behalf of Irish people, and that you were treated like that. It's absolutely disgusting.
Well, it was the most, and that was Joan died on the 16th of June, 1994. And then the apology came. So we wanted to get our records then. We had to go, Joan. We wanted to charge the state, the Minister of Justice, the church, the days. And I went, they said they're not going to work this, they're not going to have this. So they come up with this 50-50 deal that we'd take redress, right? But we'd be on a point system to rate our abuse.
God.
But we had to prove it. We had to prove it. They hired their own psychiatrist. They hired a house that looked like the industrial school, the same smell. And if you looked anyway good, oh, you did well, or, and how can somebody take your statement for an hour and tell them something that was traumatic and then just turn around and just didn't a few lines, and which to me was wrong. So they never put in the sexual abuse then. They knocked that out of it.
Yeah.
And they brought in, I don't know, some big words anyway. Lots of opportunity everybody should have got. So it was like rated from 1 to 30. Then the other one was 1 to 30. So they give you the lowest, because you had to prove to them what happened to you. Which, like, what?
This is the state. This is the state that was responsible for the abuse,
Yeah.
responsible for the cruelty, responsible for how you found how your lives were, and they were in control of then deciding, listening to the abuse and your stories.
Correct. And they
You
did
have
it
to
for other people too.
re-traumatize, go through it again, which is you. People don't understand if you've had trauma and you have to explain it to somebody else. It's a reliving of the experience. And for them then to turn around and not believe you, I mean, I'm not. I wish I could say I was surprised, but I'm not surprised. But I'm disgusted.
Yeah, and then when you went up to redress, the solicitors, like, they made millions. My particular sister, I said, when we met him in a room in a hotel, we would, we'd eat and sleep this, and we make sure you get what you deserve. And I got mine. I just went to him. I said, "No, you ate and slept counting your money and in your bank account." Because some of the survivors never even got money, but you still got paid, right? So you took our money for our suffering. So you're nothing but a Judas. And I walked out, and he said, "If you don't sign this, you're not getting your check."
And this is a solicitor, was it?
He said he wouldn't give it to me. We had to sign a non-disclosure, not to mention any of the perpetrators that was in our statements. If we did, we'd be criminalized and punished and jailed. That's what they did to us. So when I got my records, I suppose the most shocking thing in my records was the day we went in, the day we were taken or stolen by the state, and taken to court, was the 16th of June, 1959. And Joan died on the 16th of June, 1994.
Wow.
And I made a promise to her that I'd never forget her. And that memory of me in the box, I was here with my niece one night and my sister. I was sitting on the bottom of my bed. It was Christmas. And I was just after getting my home from the council. And I don't know, it was a gift. And I started playing it. And I just turned around and said, "Jesus," I said, "that reminds me of, the orphanage," because they used to say it was an orphanage, industrial, whatever they wanted to call it. And my niece picked it up. And I said, "Listen." And then she'd drop it and break it. And all the stars came out of it. And that memory of me in the box when I was 7 years old came flooding back to me. That's it. I said, I have it. I'm going to do the Stars for Life project in memory of Joan. And I did. On the 13th of December, 2009, Ballyseedy Garden Centre was full of stars, music, and was for Joan in her memory, but for all cancer sufferers. I received 5,000 stars. The money went back into the community, and there it was.
You felt like you were able to, did something for Joan.
The reason I started counting that stars that night, that terrible thing that happened, actually turned out to be a miracle in itself, because she was a star for life. And my niece recorded a song called Our Stars for Life, a song in her memory. And it's the memory of all people that died of cancer. And because I thought she'd live forever, And but her memory is living forever.
Mm.
And then my poor sister Anna passed away last year suddenly, who was also in with me. And it was the treatment we got through redress. That was 26 years ago, Keith.
Yeah.
And all these promises, no matter what everything was great in the beginning. You can do this, you can go to the dentist, you get this. You know, we didn't have any, as we say, we didn't have anything. We didn't have nothing.
Mm.
You know, we owned nothing. The only thing that I owned was my name. Right?
Isn't it? I mean, the miracle is that you have created such a life for yourself. The miracle is that I'm talking to you about this, and you're talking about your nieces and your grandchildren and your sons, and your like and the fundraising and
Yeah.
the out of such I mean, such
Torture.
terrible circumstances, such treatment on behalf of the state, that you have such strength that you're here today talking to me about this, and also now, I mean, the reason I'm talking to you is the hunger strike. I mean,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that. I know, are you 47 days into the hunger strike at this stage?
We're 47 days today.
Tell me about the hunger strike.
Yeah, and we were, as you would say, there was a consultation talks, and they were promising everything has been diluted, and we were going, what's happening?
This is your group talking to the
Yeah,
to the
well,
government.
two of the survivors, there was part of this consultation talks, and put in 29 recommendations. Their name is Mary Donovan, Morris, Patton O'Connor. There was a few other people involved in it, but I just know these two, my two friends, and then we kind
I
of
have a picture of them here, actually.
yeah. That's the four of us. That's Morris, Mary Donovan, Mary Dunleavy Green. Morris was in Pembroke Arms Industrial School, the same one I was in. Mary Donovan was in the same one I was in, Pembroke Arms Industrial School. Mary Dunleavy Green was in Limerick, in the Mount in Limerick, but now lives in Carlow. Mary lives in Newport, and I there at the smallest one there, was in Pembroke Arms Industrial School as well. So we were all in industrial schools, and it's just it's great to be with them because we all speak the same language. What I mean is nobody's going to tell you, oh, forget about it. You know, we're able to share things that other people mightn't want to know. So on the 1st of July, we put the government on notice that if we were requested, no, we asked for the HA medical card and a full contributory pension for the work we did as children, and not be means tested, because a lot of people make good lives for themselves, but there's a lot of survivors out there have nothing, right? They can't even talk about their experiences, and they have no health care. They don't, and this was something that was part of the apology. An apology is an apology unless you get justice, and we never got justice, and we need justice. So we decided on the 1st of July, after all back and forth with emails, going up to the Shannon, standing and ignoring us as if we didn't exist. Everything was defeat, go away, go away, go away. And they gave us nothing. Out of the 29 recommendations that was made by the consultation talks, they refused everything. So then,
point to the consultation talks.
Nothing. You might as well, you know, like
delay tactics.
No, I said didn't even look at it.
Calm down the road a bit.
And it was the government that did that. They threw out, and it was the Minister for Education, Minister Helen McEntee. He was as cold as ice, and he didn't even look at us. She had to be told we were in the gallery. I mean, I just went on. I mean, that's enough. We wrote emails. My friend Mary Donovan, we sent them to the RTDs, everybody, and I sent them on to the senators, and nothing. So then, on the 1st of July, we put them on notice that if we didn't get a response or something, we didn't tell them the date then, we will go on hunger strike. Nothing, pure blank. This won't happen, right? It did happen. So on the 21st, we went up. Mary went up on Tuesday with her tent, 17-foot tent, belonged to her daughter. And then I went up on We started to say on the Sunday,
Mm.
and we went down to the door, and that's from the 21st of September. All we wanted was a HA medical card, which was promised, and a full contributory pension.
So you're just looking for your pension for the work you did and a medical card, and they're not
Not,
even talking to you.
well, it's not just an ordinary medical card. It's like the last time that was given out was on when the hepatitis C contaminated blood. The state, they got the full HA card, which a lot of things are, you have a health liaison officer, you have a housing liaison, so there's a lot more.
Gold card.
It's, you could class it. Ireland don't give a lot of gold cards to their citizens, but they take them for themselves.
Yes, they do, yeah.
And so we've been up there, we've been 8 days into our hunger strike. Minister McEntee decided that she would meet us. And then when we went in and sat down, the four of us, she kind of went, I'm like, we told her a few things, and she was as cold as ice. I could feel the coldness, and it's like being back in the industrial school.
Mm.
I'm the minister, you do as you're told.
Yes.
And we
well, these ministers should remember that they're elected on behalf of the citizens, and for me, they're not behaving in a way that I feel a representative of me should behave. So they should remember that they're there to serve you and to serve me, and not the other way around.
Yeah, and so then kind of that was on the 29th of September, and she said we were getting nothing, and that came from above, which means would be her boss, the Taoiseach.
Mm.
I came down to Tralee,
or the civil servants, and
I came down to Tralee. It was the 3rd of October. It was Storm Amy, and the Taoiseach railroaded him into the office and asked him to give him a bed for the night. And they said, no, there's plenty of homeless people on the street. We're staying where we are. And that was it. That was on the 3rd of October. On the 4th of October, we had a Zoom call with Bertie Ahern, who was the man, the Taoiseach at the time, that gave the apology.
Mm.
Who was willing to be a mediator for us. He asked for the 29 recommendations that Mary gave them to him. And we thought, this is it, we have Bertie, he knows what he did wrong.
Mm.
And then he went, never heard from him again. Until last Wednesday, with all the pressure that's been put on him, not by, and no media, no RTE, no Virgin Media, no News Talk, no Liveline would take us. The only way that RTE said they would cover us if one of us was taken away to hospital. Seriously. That is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Keith. I promise you that.
Mm.
And the only people that was looking after us was the Order of Malta, which are voluntary. They go around to the homeless, and they do say they're voluntary.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one of Mary Dunleavy's daughter, who is her daughter is one of those.
She volunteers with the Order of Malta,
and she asked them to keep a check on her daughter and us.
Mm.
Very great. With the Simon community have been so good to us.
Yeah.
And then the Gardaí, I can't fault them. I really, really can't fault them.
Good.
They've really protected us big time. But they never came near us. We're outside the tent, we're outside the door, at the railings every day. Some of the opposition came, but nobody. We were just ignored. And then last Wednesday, which was not this week, last Wednesday, we had a meeting with Micheál Martin, the Taoiseach.
Yeah, right.
And we went in, and Minister McEntee was also there, the Minister for Education. Sat down, told him what happened, what we, blah, 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 the same story. He said, I'd have a mediator for you on Monday. He came out, he left us on our own, and we said a few things. He said, okay. He said, what I do, I get a mediator for you for Monday. We got notification that mediator couldn't do it. He was sick, which he is sick. Now the meeting was put back to yesterday. That was yesterday, Wednesday. Today is Thursday. And we've got a mediator in. His name is Mr. Raymond McGee. And he unfortunately has to go to a funeral in Scotland, a relation of his, on Saturday. But he's going to work on our behalf. We told him what we wanted and what we would requested. I don't think he ever realised what he was looking at.
Yeah.
And then Mary, on the night before we went into that meeting, there was a lady, Teresa. She had a document. She was from the Magdalenes, and they have this called enhanced medical card, which is getting nothing on it. Do you know what I mean? You have to pay up front, and then you're waiting for them to pay you. So it's a bit of it's a bit of an embarrassment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing that you really get is no, you don't pay for your prescriptions. Well, we need more than that. It's not we need it. They promised us more than that.
And then anything else you pay for, and then chase them for the money.
Chase for the money. Yeah, you feel like a beggar then again.
Yeah, so you're always going cap in hand. It's the same. It's more of the state trying to be
by the HA card. Everybody knows what it is. You go in. It's a special medical card. It doesn't look like the other one. They have it down. There's a code or something in it. And but anyway, I don't know. Was it Mary Donovan found this document that was hidden by Carranua? They had it since 2014. And on the third page of this document, down at the bottom 4 lines, it's called tort law, T-O-R-T law.
Yeah.
And it states that any perpetrators, the perpetrators of the state, which we are, they
victims or
that were, like say, the hepatitis C, are entitled to this HAA card on the same grounds, and that's the tort law, which we never knew. Only it popped up the night before. We gave it to the mediator.
Yeah.
And we said, we're under the state. First time ever that a Taoiseach sat in front of us and said the state are responsible for what they did, because they took us to court. The ISPCC were being paid by the state, and they were taking us from our homes, kidnapping us, using us as slaves, and treating us with no medical care, no dentistry, no nothing. We're the Holocaust of Ireland. That's what I call it. And the stories have to be told, and not the stories, they're truths.
So the same way the state were responsible for those who got hepatitis C, the Hep C thing, and that's the same. The state responsible for what happened to you guys, the abuse and all that. So the state is directly responsible. Therefore, because of tort law, you guys are entitled to the same as the Hep C people. You guys are entitled to this card as well, and this obviously, and this is written into law. So are the government breaking the law? Are the government happy to break the law now at this stage?
I mean, we did not know that document existed, and we were under Carranua, and they never released. Like, there was other things in it that was irrelevant to us, but
this is relevant.
This was very relevant.
How many people are looking for this medical card and the pension?
4,000. Now it's not. Without being
money. I don't understand that they're trying to save a few quid or something. I mean, I really don't understand it.
They're a burden. We'd be a burden on this checker. That's what he told us.
Well, I'm sure we could figure out. I'm sure the TDs could take maybe a bit of a pay cut or something.
I was thinking that, and just probably pay everybody,
cover the costs. Yeah, I'm sure maybe the nuns might pay up some of the money they owe to the state.
But I always did that.
Sell a few properties, maybe.
I think the reason they did this, because the state, why they made this deal with the religious order, the state did this. It was the state that handed us over to the religious. I'd say that's why there was the 50-50 deal done.
Yeah.
So basically, they gave them the right to abuse us. So I blame the state now. And we still have criminal records. Since they were never lifted. We need
criminal records as a baby.
Yeah.
So what's the crime? But there's no. So you have a criminal record,
It's on my
and when
court
you were a
order.
baby, from the crime you committed when you were a baby,
I
as a baby.
didn't have a parent to take proper guardianship. I
But
mean,
how would
my
that
mother was,
result in a criminal record having been
yeah,
taken off your parents
and you to be detained until you reach the age of 16.
because
So,
because of some crime, that a baby crime?
yeah, because you were born, I suppose, And we were just like, we
I
were
mean,
payments
that's illegal. You're incarcerated illegally.
You're
That's
right.
trumped up. They'd call it trumped up charges on a
Yeah.
baby.
So,
What crime is it do babies commit? I mean, crying loudly, too loudly.
and the state ordered that my name, which was Mary, but they wouldn't give me Miriam on my birth certificate because everybody was Mary, do you know?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to get it above your state. You want to get notions above your station.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden you just realize that you still have they never lifted the criminal records. They never made the apology on the criminal records. And we're waiting for that now as well. I mean, my two sisters have gone to their grave with a criminal record. They never committed a crime in their life.
I wonder how many babies committed crimes back in the day
But how many people went to their graves?
with the criminal record.
They all need they all need to be cleared. All
Yeah,
of them.
all of them. Yeah, every single one of them need to be cleared without exception. And the state,
Yeah.
I, I mean, the state can't be trusted to be in charge of these things anymore. So you're 47. I need to let you go now because
Yeah.
you're 47 days into a hunger strike.
Yeah.
How
I'm
you
not, I mean, yeah, we're I'll tell you what though, Keith. What we have resilience.
Mm,
And I think because we
clearly,
weren't really fed as children,
yeah.
I wouldn't have eaten a lot. And I think because we suffered so much as children that now when like if I had to think now it's going to be 47 days and this I don't think it would have
Mm.
I don't know would I but we really thought about it with the four of us. We said we do for the 4,000. And but it's caused a big stir in Ireland now. It's
Mm,
called and it's the young people of today that need to know what
the
happened.
history, yeah.
And it's people like students that which who I love speaking to, um, would be able to put it into history books and do theses on what happened in these places.
Mm,
Because we can't be forgotten. We're not the forgotten children of Ireland. We should not be they should be on bended knees,
mm,
begging us for forgiveness.
yes.
Begging we should and saying we are sorry. Like
Mm,
if you say sorry to somebody and you make an apology, a public apology. And as I always say, an apology is not apology without justice.
yeah.
We never received that justice, ever.
It's not worth the paper it's written on, Miriam.
No. So that's 47 days. So hopefully in the next few days we might have answers with
Okay.
this lady. He seemed a really nice man, and he doesn't work for the state. He's a kind of
He's a
he's
legal
one of
expert.
yeah, he would be able so we just have to wait now and see.
Well, Miriam, we might check back in with you, and I really appreciate your time today. I know you've to work as well. You've 2 days
Yeah,
with
but
children as
oh
well.
yeah, but that's my favorite thing. I can go out and be a child again with them. So, and that's working with my nephew. Actually, his birthday today. Happy birthday, Martin, and his wife
Okay, Mark.
Jackie. And it's the Jackie O'Mahony School of Reform. But I'm with her 10 years. I can't leave them down. I come down Thursday and Friday because they teach,
Hmm.
and I have to mind the children. So I love it. I
Miriam,
love it.
you finally get to play?
I finally get to play
Yeah.
and have fun.
Have
And
fun. Yeah.
I live my life to them because I think it's nothing makes me more happy than see children singing, dancing. It's state school, and shy children coming out of themselves. It's, and Jackie and Martin are amazing people because they have this thing with children. They love them, and and then I love being with them, and
Mm.
they're it's just a
I bet the kids love. I bet the kids love seeing you as well.
oh, they do, and they love. I mean, they love it. Like they absolutely just love state school.
Mm.
And you can't. Um, as I said to him, I said, I make promises, and I am not going to go down because some children need to be looked after. There's other children that need special. You have to be with them and watch them.
Mm.
But I says, I keep my promise, but he never did.
Yeah.
So, but I will go down and I'm still on hunger strike. I'll have my tea, my Lucozade and electrolytes. You have it, and I'll take it. But I take a load of vitamins. I'm like the alphabet now, A B C D E, and so yeah, I've lost weight. I'm 6.5 stone now.
Well,
Yeah. And I was 8'1" when I went up. But do you know what? I feel okay, and I feel the more times they ignore us, the stronger we get.
yeah.
And I really want to thank the people that has supported us. There's so many people. I want to especially thank my family for putting up with this and asking me to come off it. But I said no. I said I'm doing this. To the end. I said I was starved for years. I said so. No, I don't think a few days more. But
Yeah.
it is hard for my own family to watch, and especially my Eddie and my partner. He's just a wonderful man, and my sons and my grandchildren and my sister Breda, my sister Martina, my sister Kathleen, my brother Joe, my brother Danny, my brother John, and my two sisters gone to God. I I'm doing it for everybody.
Mm.
We are doing it for everybody.
Mm.
The four of us, and they're doing it for their families, and we're doing it for the 4,000 people that don't have a voice, that
Mm.
can't do it, that really, really can do it. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I know it's been 7 weeks. It'll be 7 weeks on Sunday, but I felt very safe, and I think spending 7 weeks with three fellow survivors has listened to their truths, and we'll all be able to share different stories or telling each other what happened. And even though we all know it was all the same, it was the same regime, and it's kind of made a perspective of life.
Yeah.
That I'm not just not. I'm never going to be nobody.
Mm.
I'm somebody, and I'll always be somebody. I mean, we mightn't have a voice as children, but we have a voice now, and we use it eloquently, properly, with respect, which they're not showing us. They're disrespecting us as
Yeah.
senior citizens. I'm 68 years of age.
Yeah.
Mary Dunleavy Green is 73.
Mm.
She's got family. She's got grandchildren that she hasn't seen. They have not left their tent. In Mary Donovan and Mary Dunleavy have not left that tent. Morris has to come down to work. He's got children, right? You have to put food on the table. But we come back and then he's go straight to work.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
But
And that's what I say on behalf of all my family, my sons. Sorry about this, boys, but mommy's mommy, and you don't tell mommy what to do. Mommy's saying. But as I always finish off, Keith saying, "My name is Miriam, and this is my voice."
Miriam, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. Best of luck, and we'll check in with you again next week. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. God
Great
bless
talking
you.
to you.
Thank you.
Well
Bye.
done. And I suppose also, I mean, I'd like to I feel like I should apologize on behalf of Irish people. I mean, we should be embarrassed. Should be ashamed. So sad. What I mean, let's listen to Miriam's story. It's just, I mean, look, it's good to get the story out there. Hopefully, the government will sit up and listen. But for two pensioners and two other people in Ireland to be going on hunger strike to get a medical card and a pension, and that woman having a criminal record for when she committed a crime as a baby, but nobody can tell her what the crime is. That's a sad state of affairs. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to Miriam for sharing her story with such honesty and courage. It's a stark reminder that the consequences of past policies, they still echo loudly today, and that accountability must be more than a promise. It must be a written commitment. We will continue to follow this developing story and bring you updates as the mediator meets with the group and as the Irish government responds. Hopefully they'll get it right this time. If you have any thoughts, questions, or messages for Miriam or the other survivors, or you have a similar experience that you'd like to talk about, join the conversation And just get in touch with us through wherever you're watching this. If you're watching it on X, send us a message on X. Same for Restream, same for Instagram, and we'll get back to you. From all of us here on Moth News, stay informed, stay compassionate, most importantly, and stay tuned. And thanks again to Miriam. Enjoy the rest of your day.